problems. That guy, he just has to touch you once.
Shit's going down.
He's so different than anybody else in the division. Like, he knocks everybody out. Everybody hits hard. They all hit hard.
But he putting
that
shit
fucking
down.
dude hits hard.
Jake Paul can come 15-20% in regards to Anthony Joshua. He's a completely different specimen. Look, you'll see what it looks like when they stand next to each other.
Joe Rogan has reacted to Anthony Joshua's intense new training regimen ahead of the rumored fight with Jake Paul, and his reaction says it all. After seeing leaked footage of Joshua unleashing explosive combinations and training with world-class coaches, Rogan called the former heavyweight champion terrifying, and warned that Jake Paul may have finally met a challenge he can't talk his way out of. With Joshua looking sharper, faster, and more ruthless than he has in years, Rogan believes this fight could end brutally, and quickly, if Jake steps into the ring. The Jake Paul vs Anthony Joshua fight will be a fully sanctioned professional heavyweight bout under the Marquis of Queensberry rules. They'll compete over 8 rounds, each lasting 3 minutes, with both fighters required to wear 10-ounce gloves. Importantly, Joshua must weigh in at no more than 245 pounds, adding a strict limit to ensure a competitive matchup. A win or loss will count on each boxer's professional record. This is the real deal.
Professional bout. This is going on people's records. AJ gotta take him serious because this isn't some exhibition. We're running out some judges to act like there's a decision and someone won. No, someone's gonna win, someone's gonna lose here. It's 8 rounds, 3-minute rounds. Again, heavyweight pro bout, 10-ounce gloves. AJ talking about breaking internets over faces. I think he meant to say breaking his face on the internet. Who knows? Maybe you can do both in the big 2025. But then you have the weight limit. And people are automatically going to go, oh, God, here's the thing. Oh, here's the thing in the contract. No, stop all that. And I'm going to go on a rant in a second for all the people that thought this was fake, for all the people that thought that Jake wouldn't do this, for all the people that thought he was scared. I'm going to go on that rant in a second. But, okay, yes, 245 is a weird number because Jake has already fought at heavyweight. He fought Mike Tyson at 220-something. But again, I understand it a little bit. We're on short notice here. You don't want to have a Tyson Fury type situation, which AJ would never be 290 coming in here. But 260, 270, it starts to get out of the realm of possibility of like, what are we doing here? Even though heavyweight has...
Nisa Badarian, CEO of Most Valuable Promotions, MVP, and Jake Paul's key promoter, told Sky Sports that the December 19th fight with Anthony Joshua represents a massive, global-level event. He emphasized that while Joshua may be the more experienced boxer, Paul's bold confidence could be the X factor. Badarian framed the matchup as a symbolic clash and revealed that their team moved quickly to make the fight happen, compressing plans and negotiations into a remarkably short time. He also confirmed strict weight limits and professional fight conditions to ensure a serious, high-stakes showdown. Badarian told Sky Sports that this fight with Joshua is far less of a mismatch than Joshua's previous bout with Francis Ngannou. He explained that while Ngannou was a huge man, he lacked serious boxing experience, making that fight more uneven. In contrast, Badarian believes Paul has grown rapidly in the sport, gaining enough skill and ring maturity to make the Joshua matchup much more competitive.
A limit for Joshua?
So there's a lot of discussion around the weight. Joshua fought Usyk twice. Both of those times, Usyk was 221 pounds. Joshua was 240 to 245. When Jake fought Mike Tyson last year, 227 pounds. I expect Jake will come in anywhere between 225 and 230, and Anthony Joshua has a weight limit of 245 pounds.
There will be those, as you're aware, that will look at it and criticise this fight. There already have been, haven't there? They'll say it's a real mismatch. What would you say to them? Are we going to be watching sport at its purest?
I would say it's much less of a mismatch than what you saw with AJ and Francis Ngannou, who a massive man, but relatively no boxing experience. I would say it's much less of a mismatch than AJ's 9th or 10th fight against guys who've been knocked out 20 to 25 times. Given AJ's pedigree, Jake is built for this. Jake is built for the big moments. So do I think it's dangerous for Jake Paul? Absolutely. Do I think it's also dangerous for Anthony Joshua? 100%.
According to many fight experts, Jake Paul is taking a huge risk by stepping into the ring with Anthony Joshua. Former cruiserweight champion Lawrence Okolie warned that Joshua's sheer size and power make the bout a serious health hazard for Paul. Meanwhile, former two-time world champion David Benavidez bluntly stated that Paul is walking into a dangerous trap due to Joshua's vast experience at the elite level.
Respect to Jake Paul, but that's a dangerous fight for him. He probably gets knocked out, and I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm not saying nothing bad, but Anthony Joshua is Anthony Joshua. You know, he's multiple-time champion, Olympic gold medalist. You know what I mean? The last time somebody stepped in the ring with him that didn't have that much boxing experience was Ngannou, and you've seen what happened to him. Yeah. But big respects to Jake Paul. It's gonna be a good card. You know what I mean? It's a big fight. And so a good fight, man. I give 100% respect to Jake Paul for even taking that fight.
The ring.
Al Frock has criticized Anthony Joshua's decision to take the Jake Paul fight, suggesting that AJ is essentially cashing out, and he's not wrong to question it. Frock argues that Joshua, having already made a fortune and achieved championship glory, now seems more motivated by money than legacy. Given his financial security, Frock believes Joshua has little left to prove in traditional boxing and is instead opting for the easiest route with a high-paying crossover matchup.
We've got to consider, is AJ cashing out? Well, I did say a year ago when he got splattered by Daniel Dubois that he's finished now. He won't get that confidence back. He's not had any confidence, you know, in his head. No belief for a long time. And I don't think he can get back to world level. There's a couple of new young guns now coming up and coming through. It's like a changing of the guard. And when Usyk retires, I don't know what Daniel Dubois is going to do next, but what Daniel Dubois did to him, then he went on and lost to Usyk. But there's a few new heavyweights coming through, Moses Atalma, just to mention one. And you wouldn't start putting AJ in with any of these young up-and-comers that can punch hard, because I just don't think he's got the chance, because the ambition and the desire is going to be gone. So AJ most definitely is cashing out, and you can't fault him. Fair play to him. He's going to get a massive payday, maximizes.
Some boxing fans believe Jake Paul could actually beat Anthony Joshua, and they are banking on his power. Despite being labeled a YouTuber-turned-boxer, Paul has demonstrated genuine punching strength in his fights, landing heavy shots that have knocked down or out several opponents. Tyson Fury, for example, recently predicted that Paul could knock AJ out, citing his growing size and power at heavyweight. Meanwhile, Paul himself has repeatedly claimed that Joshua's chin is vulnerable, suggesting that a clean, well-timed punch could end the fight early.
I think it's a possibility. No one is backing Jake Paul currently. You've seen him in the ring, you can see that he's got some knockout power. And I also believe people don't look at Joshua's last few fights. And I don't think it's going to be as big of a landslide as people feel. I feel like there's an overhand right that could easily land, and I wouldn't predict that Joshua's chin can last that. The problem is that all of the pressure's on Joshua at the moment. So Jake Paul, if he gets knocked out in 12 seconds, he should get knocked out. The problem is, as soon as Joshua starts taking damage, all of a sudden he's thinking, the world is watching me. I'm a professional fighter and I'm getting beat off a YouTuber. All of the pressure is in Joshua, and that's a lot that can weigh on a man. You can't deny that Jake Paul has power. I think it's one of his only attributes. I think he's a very poor boxer, but what he does have is a weird technique where you don't know what
he's got power. How do we know he's got power?
He's knocked people out. Joshua has all of the world looking at him thinking you should walk him over. If it gets 2 rounds, 3 rounds inside, I think Joshua...
Many are calling this a David versus Goliath matchup. Jake Paul, who has built his profile through social media and lighterweight boxing, is stepping into the ring with Anthony Joshua, a towering heavyweight with championship experience and a massive physical advantage. Joshua's size, power, and pedigree make him the clear Goliath, while Paul, the underdog, is relying on his heart, ambition, and grit to try to level the playing field.
Taking $92 million for going up against Jake Paul, right? You can't give him for that. You can't judge him for that. But don't try and tell me that this is a real professional boxing contest. I'm saying my guess is that this will be an exhibition matchup. And if it is, it'll be one hell of a show. And I'll certainly tune in. And fair play to both men because they're making an absolute goddamn killing. But what is going on? Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. It's a lose-lose for Joshua. It's a win-win.
One of the major concerns about Joshua taking on Jake Paul is that AJ has only fought twice in the past 2 years. After a split decision loss to Alexander Usyk in 2022, Joshua's activity became sporadic. He defeated Robert Helenius in August 2023 and Otto Wallin in December 2023 before knocking out Francis Ngannou in March 2024.
He's only fought twice in 2 years, and one of them he got knocked out of Daniel Dubois. That was his last fight, and a lot of people say you can only judge a fighter's quality from their last fight. And then the fight before that was a win, but it was a win against Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou, if you know, he was the UFC heavyweight who's not a real boxer, and he only had one fight before that boxing fight, what he lost as well. So that's his activity in boxing. Now Jake Paul, on the other hand, looking at his box rec, he's had 6 fights since 2023, and one of them was against Mike Tyson, but we all seen what happened in that fight. Mike Tyson was well past his prime. Where Anthony Joshua, on the other hand, is, well, I'm not going to say he's coming into his prime, because he had some great wins earlier on in his career before he lost to Usyk twice. And by the way, when he did lose to Usyk, the last one was a split decision. It was a pretty close fight. So now this fight is matched, and I just want to look at the tail of the tape. Now, looking at the age difference, we've got 28 years old compared to 36 years old. So I guess the advantage there goes a little bit towards Jake Paul. 28-year-old is better than a 36-year-old. But that being said, we've got talking about experience and everything else, what comes with being 36 years old at Anthony Joshua's level. And then, like I mentioned, the heavyweights kind of seem to prime a little bit older. Now, come down to the height and the weight. This is the big one. 6'1" versus 6'6". 200 pound versus 252 pound. We got a 252 pounder in Anthony Joshua. The reach advantage is a lot, which we would expect. Amateur fights, we can see that Jake's only had one, where AJ's had 43, but 43 of them are included at the highest level, Olympic level. And yes, he won the Olympic bloody gold medal, if I don't need to remind you. Now, in the pro record, Jake Paul has had 13 fights, lost 1. AJ has had 28 fights and he's lost 4 with 25.
David Haye has issued a dire warning about the upcoming Anthony Joshua vs Jake Paul fight, calling it a blatant mismatch. Speaking to Sky News, the former heavyweight champion said Joshua could inflict horrendous damage on Paul and fears that Paul's safety is at serious risk. Haye even suggested the fight could be a matter of life and death, painting a grim picture if Paul underestimates Joshua's size, power, and experience. There is a massive physical gap between Joshua and Paul. Joshua stands 6 feet 6 inches with an 82-inch reach, while Paul is around 6 feet 1 inch with a 76 reach. Joshua usually weighs between 240 to 250 pounds but will be capped at 245 pounds for this fight. In contrast, Paul spent most of his career as a cruiserweight and has only bulked up to around 227 pounds for his previous heavyweight bouts. This size and weight advantage could give Joshua a significant edge in both power and reach.
Actually get over the line. I heard this 3-4 months ago. I just dismissed it. I heard it a week ago. I went along with it, but deep down I thought this isn't going to happen. And today it's been made official. Jake Paul is going to get in a ring in a boxing match, boxing gloves, to mix it with one of the most dangerous heavyweights on the planet. Someone who is Olympic gold medalist, won the heavyweight championship twice. Although he lost his last fight against a very good Daniel Dubois, he's a top 10 heavyweight on the planet versus internet sensation, someone who's a latecomer to boxing and has boxed at a very moderate level. I'm talking domestic level. And he lost to Tommy Fury, for instance. And Tommy Fury, who he lost to, versus Anthony Joshua, they're two completely different sports. So I commend Jake Paul for putting himself in harm's way, because boxing is a dangerous game. People have died in the ring. People have been seriously injured, maimed. And he believes in himself enough to do it on a massive scale, because it's not about the money. He's got enough money. This is him wanting to push the boundaries of reality. He's manifested an amazing life for himself. He's a superstar. And I think he wants to try and do the unthinkable. He wants to. It's an insane challenge he's put himself up for, but you've got to give him credit.
You say an insane challenge. You've described it before as Jake Paul being a cat versus Anthony Joshua's lion.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not equally matched on any sense, are they?
There's not one element of their boxing skill set that Jake Paul can come 15, 20% in regards to Anthony Joshua.
Anthony Joshua is taking a big risk by agreeing to fight Jake Paul. For many experts, it's not just about what could happen in the ring, but what it could do to his legacy. Former heavyweight Dave Allen warned that if Paul even lands a punch, it could diminish everything Joshua has accomplished. Others argue that this fight is purely a financial decision. Eddie Hearn defended it, saying, "You can't eat legacy." There's growing concern that AJ could trade his respected reputation for a massive payday, and if things go wrong, he risks being remembered more for a cash grab than for his boxing greatness.
Minimum risk, massive reward. So of course we'd fight Jamie.
No, but you say that, it's a big risk, Carl. Big risk.
I'm not having that.
Big risk. If you don't go and annihilate him in the first 30 seconds,
it's fixed.
Can you right, it's fixed. Oh, he's pulling him round.
Yeah.
He's talking about me fighting him though. So would you think that was fixed if I didn't go and annihilate him? 11 years retired. I think that's the point George makes. He always has a little dig and says,
no, but
say
say you go out there and it's a tough fight for you. You can say, well, what would you expect? I haven't boxed for 11 years. But then it's like, it's hard, isn't it? It's hard. Do you want that?
Nobody thinks any less.
You've got the best ending.
Yeah, I've got
your career.
Definitely.
So,
nobody thinks any less of Mike Tyson because he lost to Jake Paul.
He was 58 years old.
Yeah, exactly. So
he's an hospital a week before.
Listen, I've been retired 11 years, and I'd still go in there, in my opinion, and whoop him. I don't think it'd be hard at all. So listen, he won't fight me. He's pretending he don't know who I am now, for a start. So he's thought.
How can he not know who you are?
However, many boxing experts and fans are beginning to believe that Anthony Joshua is stepping into what could be the best version of himself. Despite setbacks in his career, including his 2 losses to Alexander Usyk, Joshua has shown resilience, coming back stronger after each fight. Observers have noticed a different aura about him in recent months. He appears more composed, more focused, and more determined.
People have said, well, if he doesn't knock him out the way in which he knocked out Francis Ngannou, he's a sham, this is a sham, this is all rigged. A lot of people said if Jake wins, this is a sham, this is rigged. A lot of people said if he goes the distance with Jake, this is a sham, this is all rigged. Some people are saying even before it was finalized, Gareth on our show, although he folded quite quickly when he was face-to-face with Eddie at the open workouts. I saw that on IFL TV, I do believe, saying that his legacy is already in question as a result of taking this fight. Now, I'm surprised that people like Gareth say this. Look, this may not be your cup of tea. You can say, I want to see Anthony Joshua fight other heavyweights. I want to see him fight the likes of, I don't know, Joseph Parker. I want to see him fight Martin Bakole.
In some ways, Anthony Joshua's decision to face Jake Paul is a high-stakes gamble, both physically and reputationally. While the fight promises a massive financial reward, many insiders fear it could tarnish AJ's legacy if things go wrong. Critics argue that Joshua risks turning what should be a celebrated veteran comeback into a circus spectacle. On the other hand, this bout could be the perfect payday he's earned after years of big fights. At this stage of his career, taking such a risky crossover matchup, one that could end in a shocking upset or serious damage, is anything but a